if y'all would have read the passage, y'all would have been like, this is self-hate, or for sure some self-sabotage. So I am back with another late night vent session. Long time no vent. Today's vent session should be very interesting because I feel like usually when I do these videos, I'm venting about something, someone. Today I'm venting about myself. We're doing a little bit of self-reflection. I'm gonna spill a little bit of tea for you guys on something that my fiance Josh recently discovered after reading one of my old diaries. Brought me to tears, honestly. So I'm gonna go ahead and get super vulnerable and transparent with you guys. But as a lot of you guys know, I've been on this self-discovery, self-care journey as of recently, trying to work on, catering to myself and pampering myself more. So with these late night vent sessions, I like to dibble and dabble into that side of things while I'm venting to you guys about whatever. And today I'm excited. Let me finish with my hair up in a puff real quick. So today I'm super excited to share that I partnered with Teami Blend, which has some of my ultimate favorite skincare products, in particular Honeyyyy, their detox mask. If you've never tried it before, y'all about to see what it's about to do to my skin. This is one of my favorite, most trusted face masks ever. So I'm so excited to be partnering with them in today's video. They also sent me their overnight sleep mask, which is a new fave of mine. I've been trying it over the last week or so, and I have really been enjoying it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys what I've been doing on my self-care Sundays, while again venting to you guys about what's been going on with your girl. So without further ado, let's hop into this video. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply this Teami Detox Mask. For those of you guys who have never, I had to dampen my skin real quick too, you guys. So you see a little glisten, that's what's going on here. I wanna show you guys a nice little before of what my skin is looking like, just so y'all can hopefully see the difference that this mask makes. I've been using this mask on and off for at least 2 or maybe 3 years. It's like my staple mask that I always go back to because I love how it makes my skin look and feel. So go ahead and take it in. Okay, this is what your girl skin looking like at first. One of the reasons I love this mask so much, and as you guys can see, I've really been going in on it. Matter of fact, Josh has been joining me on my self-care Sundays as of lately, and I actually used this on him this past week and he loved it. Josh is somebody who does not do anything with his skincare whatsoever, y'all. All he does is water. So he actually was in love with the feeling that he had when it was time to take it off, and even just the process of putting it on. Trying to get my man into self-care too, y'all. They need love too. But anyway, I like to use this little mask brush that I got a while ago, I think from the Dollar Tree, to apply it. But what I love so much, I love a couple things about this product, but one of the things is how thick it is. Can y'all, do y'all see that? The consistency is so bomb. It smells super good. It smells very, it literally has green tea blend. So it has matcha, lemongrass, and clay, biotin clay in particular in it. And it just smells so fresh and clean and self-care-y. I wish I had a better word for it, but it's ultimately supposed to help with your pores. I'm gonna go ahead and paint it on real quick. Ooh, that feels so good because it's so cooling. Yes. The goal is to rid my pores of impurities while also replenishing my skin, which I feel like that's the best way to describe the feeling that I get whenever I use this mask. I'm typically not someone who suffers from super bad skin problems and stuff, but I am human, so I might get bumps every once in a while, or zits and my complexion looking dull, stuff like that. Basically because I don't have many skin problems, in particular with my face, whenever I start to, I immediately go to this, y'all, because I don't know, it's always just been magic for my skin. Whether I'm having texture problems or bumps, this joint always comes through and it's we got you, sis. This is that type of product. Honestly, this mask is literally that type of product. Oh, you got bumps, you got redness, you got texture issues, we got you. And you can literally feel the difference the first time you use it, which I love. Y'all see how easy it's just gliding on my skin. Oh my gosh. Even for me, just applying the mask, how it feels to my skin and stuff, that alone to me feels like pampering. And I feel like it's important for everybody to at some point pamper themselves. Bruh. Now that I'm really on this road of self-care and stuff, ain't no looking back. It's I'm literally catering to myself, and it feels so good. But all right, this is how the face mask is looking after applying all of it. I'm gonna let it sit for about 10-15 minutes to let it dry, and y'all will see, like, eventually my face is gonna lose movement, which is always a little funny to me. But to me, in my head, when that starts happening, it's like my skin getting tighter. Like, I just feel the youthfulness pouring back into my skin, and I love it. The coverage, I love the thickness, the smell. Like, this product is a winner. Especially if you are someone that like deals with a lot of skincare issues. This mask I highly would suggest, because like I said, I'm someone who doesn't even experience a whole bunch of skincare issues, yet this is like my go-to staple mask when I do, because I can literally feel it replenishing my skin, getting rid of the impurities and toxins in my pores. Like, especially too, because I'm someone who doesn't wear foundation like that, y'all. So like, my skin needs to stay on point. It needs to stay, you know, popping. And this mask, always my go-to. So if any of you guys are interested in trying this detox mask or any of the other super bomb skincare products that they have on their website, go ahead and use my discount code at checkout so you can get some money off your order, sis. You know we all about saving them coins. But yes, as for the real tea that you guys came for, Josh and I went to go visit, oh, by the way, using some Jamaican black castor oil on my edges. We went to go visit my mom this past weekend. She needed some help clearing out the guest room, which used to be my old bedroom at home. It's now a guest room, and she needed me to move some of my old stuff around and just help her with some boxes and whatnot. As you know, when you're clearing out old things and whatnot, you end up somehow going back down memory lane. And when I was in my old room sifting through stuff, trying to figure out what I was ready to throw away, what I wanted to keep, stuff like that, I ended up stumbling across a high school diary, y'all. In particular, it was a high school diary I wrote in my senior year of high school. I had like all the tea about like my high school drama, high school entanglements, relationships, like all of that stuff. I obviously was sharing it with my mom and Josh. In particular, Josh kind of got a kick out of it at one point because, you know, he got to see where high school EC senior year's head was at, like what I was going through and stuff. A whole bunch of boy drama and just mess and stuff like that. But the part in particular that made me cry, y'all, like really it made me sad. He had got to some passage in particular where I just basically went in on myself. And as he was reading it, I started to get real emotional and essentially ended up crying because I was like, I didn't even remember me thinking about myself in that way or feeling that way about myself. It was a bittersweet type of feeling because it was bitter in the sense where like, dang, I really used to feel that way about myself, but sweet in the sense that I don't anymore. I wish I would have brought the journal or the diary with me so I could read verbatim to you guys what I said, but I can kind of remember. Basically, there was a passage in particular where I like nitpicked. Let me give you guys a scope and frame of mind of where I was at though. So senior year, I had a boyfriend pretty much all of my high school career until my senior year. He was a year above me, so he graduated the year prior. So my senior year was my first year kind of like starting single or whatever. And he was also like my first love, first boyfriend, all of that. And I remember there was a point senior year, he had brought his new girlfriend, maybe like the first semester, new girlfriend from college that he met in college. And you know, the boys, they like to give you all these like promises and I love you, I'll never love someone the way I got all of that energy from him prior to him going off to college, stuff like that, whatever. But he ended up bringing his new girlfriend up to the school to like, I guess introduce her to some of his homies that were still there. And maybe he was trying to flex her on me, whatever. She was a pretty cute girl, whatnot. But I'm trying to like give you guys a scope and frame of where I was at. Why do I not have my glass of water with the bougie wine glass? Hold on. All right, this is how it's supposed to be. Anyway, high school EC at this time is updating her diary constantly about all this drama, all this mess. Like, oh, I met his girlfriend today. I've never been like a hater in the sense where, you know, like it can be a genuinely pretty girl that your ex is dating, but you'll still hate or still say like, oh, she's ugly, EC back then could very well acknowledge and accept like, that girl's pretty. Even his ex prior to me, who was still kind of in the picture when me and him were together, was really gorgeous to me. So anyway, the passage in particular that I wanted to talk to you guys about, I like basically tore myself apart. So it was a passage about me touching on how like I was really insecure at that time in that present day. Like that day I wrote it, I was in a super low insecure place. And I had brought up how I don't really care for any feature of mine. Like I didn't have a problem with my melanin. I was proud to hear. Issy back then didn't have a problem with it. I was never like feeling a way about my chocolate skin or whatever. I said that I liked my complexion, but like basically nothing else I really cared for. Like I said, other than my complexion, the only thing I really like is my ears and my smile. So like I had tore apart my lips. I was like, you know, my lips aren't as full as, I said Megan Good, and I said Erica from Love and Hip Hop. That was like where I was at mentally in senior year of high school. So yeah, I brought up like, I wish I had curvier, fuller lips, and what else did I bring? I wish that I had like slantier eyes, and I feel like my nose is kind of big. Just my face in general. Like I was saying that basically I didn't really feel like I was beautiful. I think I actually blatantly said that I don't feel like I'm beautiful. I think that the best thing I have going for myself is my smile, and that's the only thing that I feel like makes me pretty. I really wish I had the passage here with me so you guys can really hear everything that I was saying, how I was talking to myself. Like even the fact that I put pen to paper to write that is so self-destructive, and I guess that's kind of what inspired me to want to make this video. I oftentimes try to kind of relate to like where my niece in particular is at right now. As a matter of fact, she's a senior in high school. She's about to graduate in 2 weeks. She already found her college. She's going to an HBCU, and like Auntie Issy has made it my duty this summer to prepare her for this next step. I'm having her come stay with me and Josh at some point this summer so we can, you know, just nurture her and get her ready and get her mental prepared for this new step and phase she's about to go into in life. But I'm saying all that to say it was interesting to hear the way I was talking and speaking about myself or about my situations around me at her age that she's at now, because I think sometimes I forget, because when she's telling me certain things or, you know, sharing with me about certain things or boys or whatever, I'm looking like, girl, like you're too young for this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you're hypocritical, because now I'm looking at a diary that has it time-stamped and dated, and I'm talking about the same stuff at that time that she's talking about to me now. So it was a good refresher that I felt like I needed to see, hear, read, and stuff like that. But like I said, a passage in particular where I was tearing myself apart made me cry. And ultimately too, if I had to put it into a word, I would say that it made me feel pretty embarrassed. Even if I was just reading it by myself to myself, I would have been embarrassed like, girl. And I remember in the passage too that he was touching on, or that he was reading from my diary, I had mentioned something about makeup. Like I never got into makeup until college, and in particular until I started being an influencer, if I'm honest. Like I didn't really have time for it. I was always an athlete, and then on top of that, I always went to private school for the most part all my life. Uniform in general has pretty much always been my life up until college, and even when I got to college, I had athletics like immediately after class. So I would just dress pretty leisurely and chill and stuff like that. And it was just interesting also hearing him read those passages back, because the Issy that wrote that her senior year also carried into the Issy that went to college. Like I remember feeling those ways, having that energy about myself my freshman year for sure, and a little bit probably of my sophomore year. You know what, matter of fact, sophomore year I feel like was a really big pinnacle year and change for me, because I ended up breaking up with an ex that I carried over to college from high school. And I think too, what was so interesting, I won't even say disheartening, but just interesting about comparing where I am now and how I feel about myself now to where I was then. One, how much positive self-talk can do for you. Two, having the right people in your space, right? Like I feel like so much of what I said about myself that was negative and mean and hurtful stemmed from the people that I allowed around me at that time. Even just when I'm thinking about how my relationships were going with like boys and stuff at the time, I feel like high school me and even partially college me took so much weight on of feeling not good enough, not pretty enough, not just enough in general when a guy would cheat on me or do me wrong or mess with another girl. Like I feel like, and I don't want to put words in any of you guys' mouths, so y'all can comment below and let me know if you can relate to this, but like at least for me, I feel like I tied my beauty so heavy into how these high school or just young boys in general, college boys treated me. If they didn't cherish me, or if I wasn't the one and only, I felt like it was something that had to do with my looks or lack thereof beauty. It was the reason why. I think it's so important for us girls to really understand and take in that when a guy or a person cheats on us, it's not us. It's not a lack thereof in our beauty, because the most beautiful, gorgeous women in the world get cheated on. Everybody like, I don't say everybody gets cheated on, but do you know what I mean? Back then, in that mentality, that young age and naiveness that I was in, that's what I tied it to. Like, I'm getting cheated on because I'm not pretty enough, because I don't have the Coke bottle shape and body and stuff like that, because that was something else that I wrote to myself. How my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend and his ex-girlfriend, how they had like the boobs and like the butt and stuff. And for me, I'm still, to me, kind of like pretty flat-chested. It wasn't really a matter of like having bigger boobs, but I wish I had like a bigger butt and hips and stuff like that, like other girls that I would see around me at that age. Like, some girls' bodies are just super developed at a young age, and I was not one of them. That, on top of not knowing how to do makeup and stuff like that, on top of not being very girly. And you know what too, that I have to kind of like ponder on, and let me be clear on this too, because my mom and parents, especially before my dad passed, always tried their best to reiterate to me that I am beautiful. I think when I was talking to Josh and kind of trying to like dissect why did I feel that way, like where was I at mentally, I had to think about too, Issa senior year of high school didn't have her dad. I lost my dad when I was 12, so I want to say like 5th, 6th grade. That was like a really pinnacle age, I feel like, where if my dad was still alive, we would have developed that relationship. Like, I would have been consciously aware of what pure, genuine love coming from a male father figure, my dad, felt like, and that could have possibly established my perspective on how I deserve to be treated by these younger boys as I was entering that dating world. I hope I'm making sense. Like, at 12, I wasn't thinking about boys. Like, now 12-year-olds have had 3-4 boyfriends by 12, you know what I mean? Whereas when I was growing up at 12, I was playing with Barbies still. Well, I don't know if I was playing with Barbies, let me not say that, but I just wasn't into any of that. Like, I didn't have any knowledge the way 12 and 13-year-olds have knowledge about things they probably shouldn't now. So just being consciously aware of like liking someone and dating and what it's like when someone likes you and how that should make you feel or not feel, I didn't get any of that. I feel like those were the talks that I would have had with my dad in high school about boys, and I didn't get that opportunity. So I think that because my dad passed when I was such a young age, ultimately my first interactions with males or boys that are my peers were what kind of shaped my perspective of myself a little bit, if that makes sense. Which is super unfortunate, because you can't leave your insecurities in the hands of a teenage boy, like, or even some of these college boys. Like, honestly, it amazed me to hear myself talk about myself in that way. And also I knew that it stemmed from my exes and stuff like that, because I brought up their current girlfriends or their ex-girlfriends, or I was comparing myself to what other girls had instead of just like being able to look in the mirror and be like, wow, I'm beautiful. And I told Josh, maybe like, I would say 3-4 years ago max, is when I could truly look in the mirror, which is right behind me, but like look in the mirror and be like, I am beautiful, like, and not see any flaws in that. Like, I don't still see my nose is like, oh, too big, or wishing my eyes were more slanty or my lips were more curvy and stuff. I feel like I'm gorgeous now, but I didn't always used to feel like that. And going through that journey and that process of learning to love myself, I'm so glad that I'm here now and I've established that for myself. But like, it felt like, honestly, you guys, reading that passage or hearing him read that felt like that was completely two different people. Like, it did not feel like I ever would have said or wrote something like that about myself. And you know what, a little side note too, I'm glad that he stumbled across it, because now, you know, we're not gonna have kids anytime soon, but I can go back to this feeling that I now have of like, dang, that's where I was at in high school, like how I was thinking mentally as a girl and stuff, so that when we have a daughter or daughters, I can kind of gauge where they're at and how they're feeling and what's going on in their head. Because it was crazy too, from Josh's perspective, he was like, boys don't think like this at all, in terms of like the emotionalness and the roller coasters and the exes and entanglements and the love triangles and all of that stuff. Like, he was like, this is not anything of what my high school situation or reality was. Kind of made us dig a little bit deeper on the conversation of like, if I was at that age being able to dissect my feelings and emotions at such a young age like that, no wonder sometimes girls tend to be more advanced than boys who are our age or our peers and stuff. There wasn't really a time where they needed to be so deep and intricate in their emotions about how they feel or what they look like and and stuff like that. I feel like those pressures are put on us as females at such a young age, and the social media era certainly doesn't help. Like me at 12 years old, or even I didn't get social media until senior year of high school, and that was because my track teammates were like forcing me to, basically, and even then I didn't really take it seriously. So like for the most part through my high school career, I got to grow up pretty innocent, like at least from the social media age and era. So if I was already feeling that low self-esteem at that age prior to this boom in social media and Instagram and YouTube and all this stuff, and these 16-year-olds looking like beat runway models, like if I saw that on my social media, on my phone every day, on top of being in person with some girls and feeling like still less than and inferior and stuff like that, and I'm not pretty enough, and I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine the destruction. And I think that's why I kind of wanted to share my story that just recently resurfaced in my life that made me realize, like, wow, there was a point in time where I was super low and confidence just wasn't a thing. And what's crazy is, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I started YouTube because of Issy feeling that way her senior year. That energy in particular senior year that I wrote in my diary definitely carried over into college, my college career. And I finally got to a point, I guess like my freshman year is when I decided I was gonna do the YouTube channel, even though I didn't launch it until sophomore year, when I was like, I can't be the only girl that feels this way or has these insecurities. And I ultimately wanted to just start my channel as like an outlet, a hobby, something that could help me feel more fulfilled or whatever, because the things that tied into my identity at that time before I started YouTube was just like, oh, she's an athlete and she's a student, and that was about it. And those were just things that I happened to be really good at. But like, I wouldn't say I chose being a college athlete as like my identity. I did it because it helped pay for school and education, but it wasn't like a huge passion of mine. Athletics, well, even though I was super athletic, like I enjoyed doing sports, but there wasn't a passion there. So I was inspired to start my YouTube channel, hoping that, you know, I could kind of go on a self-discovery journey, learn about myself, connect with like-minded girls who felt the same way. And now, like, look where we are. This was never my intention, I say that all the time, for my brand, I guess, essentially to blow up the way it has, because this literally started as a girl who was super insecure, low confidence, low self-esteem, did not see any beauty in myself when I looked in the mirror, and now it's just crazy. It's just crazy, like, to think that that's where I used to be and this is where I'm at now. So I kind of wanted to do this video as hopefully like inspiration to any of you guys that might be going through a similar phase like that in your life right now, where you're not feeling good enough, or you're nitpicking your flaws and insecurities, constantly comparing yourself to your peers or people you're seeing on social media. I can't stress to you enough how important it is to see the beauty within yourself, not just externally though, like internally. I do feel like that was a big portion of how I started to grow in love with myself, realizing just internally how beautiful of a person I am, like my spirit, my energy, the aura that I give off to anybody that meets me or that, you know, I run into their life. I always want to breed nothing but positivity into people's lives and leave a positive impact. So just from that alone, realizing like, okay, I'm a good person, just a good-hearted person. I think that for me to be able to confidently say that says so much, because if I'm being 1,000 on this late night binge session, there's not a lot of good people in this world, I feel like. At least from what I've seen, like, a lot of people don't really operate at my high frequency. How they treat others, in terms of how they view others, in terms of how they view themselves. I feel like definitely a huge mentality shift happened with me. And then also, I do feel like even things like now, present day, that I'm doing with like self-care and stuff, heavily tie into boosting my confidence and self-esteem right now, because I do feel like it's a constant journey. At least for me, I know some people feel like, you know, either you're confident or you're not. To me, I feel like it's an ever-growing journey, because I'd be lying if I say I wake up feeling on point, a 10 every morning. Like, I could be on some, I woke up like this energy like Beyonce, but that don't mean that I really feel that way, because it's kind of like a fake it till you make it type of energy. That was something else. I do feel like over the years, I started learning how to fake it till I make it. Even though I didn't feel the bombest or the prettiest or the baddest, I tried to at least make myself think that I was. And so much of that repetitive energy ended up translating into what you see now. Us women are really good with pouring positive affirmation and validation into other people, yet we don't give it to ourselves. Honestly, I wouldn't have known that I had that much, I wouldn't even say hate, but I think that I could say at that age, I had to be like 18, 19, senior year of high school, that if y'all would have read the passage, y'all would have been like, this is self-hate, or for sure some self-sabotage. Just very mean to myself. And I remember maybe this year, I was reading this book. I need to finish reading it. I'm sure a few of you guys have seen it on my social media a couple times, but I've been reading this book on and off called Successful Women Think Differently that I got off Amazon. And it was a passage basically saying, like, if our bodies, or maybe it was our forehead, one of the two, was like a billboard or advertisement where it showed everything that we say about ourselves or to ourselves or like think about ourselves, what would it say? What would it tell people when they're walking past you on the street, or they see you in school, or whatever? And I feel like if that was a reality, if what I wrote or felt about myself my senior year was like wrote on my body, the level of embarrassment, it just would have been insane. And that was something else that I thought was interesting too. I started off the passage with saying, like, a lot of people wouldn't know that I'm insecure about these things because I hide it, but this is how I feel about myself, like about the nose, about the eyes, about the lips, and the lack thereof, hips and a butt and stuff like that. And I was like, but I'm never gonna tell anybody because I'm not gonna go out that way. Or I don't know, you talk real wild when you're young, but for me to be consciously aware of like, all right, these are my heavy insecurities, but I need to make sure that I keep them to myself because I don't want anybody to know and use those against me. I think that is so deep. And I was telling Josh too that it's interesting because I feel like all too often, especially older adults, feel like kids need to stand at kids' place and they don't know anything, blah, blah. Those are really real emotions and feelings that I was feeling as a senior in high school, or, even at a younger age. Like I said, that didn't just start my senior year. I'm sure I felt like that for a long time. That's why I think it's so important to hear kids out and hear where their heads are at. How are they doing? How do you feel about yourself? And I think if anything that I regret during that time, I regret not sharing how I was feeling with my mom. I don't think I really knew how. Like, I didn't want to tell my mom, like, oh, I feel ugly, because I think in my head it's like, oh, my mom's gonna tell me I'm beautiful and she's not gonna get it. But my mom has always made herself an ally and an open book for me. Like, I wish I would have taken more advantage of that. So that's something that I know for me as a parent that I'm gonna really try to like do and work on and make super clear for my kids. I'm always an outlet for you, or me and Josh, will always be an outlet for them to talk to us about whatever. And I think that me being transparent with them when they're around the age that I'm talking about and stuff, about what I was going through at that age will help them with feeling that level of comfortability with sharing that with me. So it was really interesting, you guys, but I found myself getting super emotional hearing myself talk about myself like that. Like, I genuinely thought I was ugly. I did not see the beauty in myself. I really felt like the best thing I had going for myself was my ears, my neck, and my smile. And I just never felt good enough. But I was never having people around me in my circle. Like I'm saying, that's why it matters so much. Friendships, boyfriends, significant others, whatever. Like, those people in your circle matter so much. I did not have the right people in my circle validating and affirming, especially at that age, that I am beautiful and I am enough, So it's so important to continue repeating that to yourself. I feel like, I'm explaining something that I was experiencing and going through my senior year, but I feel like whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, or whether you're a grown adult out of both of those schooling phases and still going through that roller coaster of confidence and self-esteem and insecurities and stuff, just know you're not alone, but also know it's a journey that you can win, but you gotta learn how to be nicer to yourself, be kinder. I would let me say kind. Be kinder to yourself, be more nurturing to yourself. That's why I'm really gonna be stressing self-care to you guys, because I really feel doing self-care, putting on face masks, getting my nails done, getting my toes done, getting massages, starting to exfoliate, like all of that stuff makes me feel like the baddest, like makes me feel good. And I'm doing it for myself. You gotta learn to love yourself. The same way that I was loving on those high school boys, friends of mine and stuff like that. I was pouring all that love into them, but never pouring any into myself, And I think that I was looking or waiting for them to pour it into me, and when I did not get poured into, hence aka getting cheated on, getting dogged out, getting played, stuff like that, all that was pouring into me was like more insecurity, low self-esteem, low confidence, like all of that. So you got to be careful and very aware and cautious of who you're allowing to pour into you, as well as making sure you pour into yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Pour positivity into yourself. yourself. That is the best form of self-love. It's sad and disheartening that like I feel like so many girls go through that phase. Again, I don't want to put words in y'all's mouth. If some of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, then that's cool. But if some of you guys can relate, understand the feeling that I'm trying to explain, have been on a self-love, self-care journey as well for yourself, please don't hesitate to comment below like your stories or what you've gone through, or you know how you've leveled up your mentality. Because yeah, to me, yeah, I did glow up for sure, physically speaking, but I think the most important glow up was my mental, like where I put myself mentally and emotionally to now be where I'm at. That was the hard work. Changing your outer appearance, your hair, getting your brows done, nails, stuff like that. To me, that's easy. The hard work is digging deep, having those hard conversations with yourself, asking yourself, why? Why do I feel this way? Why don't I think I'm good enough? You know, just those type of things to get to the root of the issue. Because at the end of the day, what I ended up finding out is the root of the issue wasn't me. These guys cheating and doing what they want to do, messing with other girls, they're just eating greedy and they're selfish. It wasn't that my beauty, I wasn't beautiful enough, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't being the best partner that I could be to them. Some people are just like eat cake and candy too type of people. They're just selfish, they're just grimy, they're just greedy. And that's just what it is. That has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. If you're experiencing similar things, it doesn't have to do with your beauty or whatever. And again, now that I'm at this age and I can think about where I was at that time, putting that much power in somebody else's hands, the hands of a high school boy or a college boy, is like, sis, no, that power should be all yours. How you feel about yourself, how you view yourself. I try to oftentimes ask God to send me signs in terms of like content and inspiration and stuff. And based off what Josh said, like maybe this is what you need to talk about, because I was really stumped on what the topic should be for this late night event session. And I felt like this was like my sign to allow my message to reach the masses, and maybe somebody who's going through a similar issue right now, present day, can stumble across this video and be like, all right, I'm not alone. There's somebody who's a living and breathing example that this mentality, that I can do better, that I can shift my mentality, that this low point that I'm at or I feel about myself is not a forever thing. It's very temporary, you know. So at this point, my face is starting to get real hard. I don't know if y'all are noticing that I can't talk with facial expressions as much anymore. You can kind of see it too, like the toxins and stuff that's starting to come out, all them impurities. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and actually rinse off my face really quick. Actually, this is a form of self-care that I feel like too. So not just the face mask, but I like to use a face towel, run it under really hot water. I'm a hot water girl, but I like to run it under really hot water, let it sit there for maybe like 10-15 seconds to make sure it's thoroughly drenched, and then I just sit it on my face for like 10 seconds, and then I start to rub away. It feels really good because it feels like a steam treatment to your face, like just, ooh, it feels so good. So I'll be right back, y'all, and I'll show you guys what my results are looking like. So this is what my skin looks like immediately after rinsing off the face mask. Bruh, I wish y'all could all, honestly, this is one of them times where I really wish y'all could reach your hand through the screen to touch my skin. Like, I'm not sure if it's showing up as well as it should on the camera, but y'all, my pores, like, it's like, what pores? It's so smooth. That's the thing that I think I love most about the face mask, how it makes my skin feel when I take it off. I can feel the tightness, I can feel the smoothness. Like, I don't know why I came close to the screen as if you guys can hear the smoothness. It's so smooth, my skin is so tight, so clear, like it feels super clean. That mask understands the assignment, okay? Like, if y'all are wanting just cleaner, healthier looking skin, you want to just detox your skin, help replenish it, repurify it, like all of that, this mask is that. Can y'all see, like, oh my gosh. I am always just wowed by the results at the end, as if it's like the first time that I've used the product. I'm always shook. Now, I am gonna go ahead and now follow up with their Teami Overnight Sleeping Mask Hydration Treatment. It looks like this, super cute color, cute bottle. I've been using this for about a week or so now, and I've really been enjoying it. To me, it's such a calming sensation, especially after the detox mask. I feel like how it says it's a hydration treatment, that's literally what it feels like. I wouldn't say that the detox mask makes my face feel dry or dehydrated, but you know, it gets rid of a lot of toxins and impurities. It really, really cleans your skin. So This to me just reinforces like putting hydration back into it, and I love the way it feels. It's kind of like a jelly type of texture and consistency. Still very thick. I love thick products like this, by the way, I've realized. Now for this sleep mask though, it's meant to help promote a renewed, vibrant, youthful skin complexion. And the point of sleeping in it is for it to work its magic while you're dreaming. So it'll help reveal smoother and brighter skin. So honestly, do y'all see how freaking hydrated my skin looks right now? I feel like y'all can't deny, okay? Y'all cannot deny. Come on, come on. Yes. Yes. That feels so good. Y'all have no idea. Might as well go ahead and bring it down on the neck just a little bit too, because you know the neck needs love too. By the way, that detox mask, it can be used on your neck as well if you have any like acne issues, blemishes, stuff like that there. Go ahead and tighten that skin up there too. You know, we want to keep it right, tight, and cute, so. Yeah, that is all I have for you guys. Oh my gosh, even fanning my skin, just that little bit of coolness while the sleeping mask is drying. This is top tier self-care, ladies and gentlemen, top tier. But yes, you guys, that is all I have for you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, my transparency. Again, I would love for any of you guys who can relate to like my story to comment below what your experience has been with your self-care journey or your insecurities or just where you're at right now. I love my beauty gang to always feel like, you know, we're a community. So even if like sometimes I don't see the comments, I love when I see like another beauty gang member leave like an empowering or motivational comment on another beauty gang member's post, you know, like that's just the type of community that we've built. You never know, you might be helping somebody else, you might be helping me. And to me, life is all about growth and evolving, ladies and gentlemen. So please don't hesitate to share any aspect of your journey that you're open to below. Again, shout out to Teami for sponsoring this video with some super bomb products. Y'all try out these products. I kid you not. Thank me later. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel as though I gotta show y'all my skin one more time because like, it just feels so good and it looks even better. Until next time, bye.